in the ongoing series which we have started today on the leadership and team development, in this part of my presentation I will be talking on the importance of leadership in business, the difference between the leadership and management, and what impact the leadership has on the motivation of the employees. All these issues are very pertinent, especially in the present realm and the pandemic situation which we are moving through. A good leadership can help us in sailing through any kind of a crisis. So with these words, let me start with the importance of leadership in business. A good leader provides the guidance in a very meaningful way so that the employees, they are working on a very efficient and a supporting way where they can only meet the success. It also motivates the employees. A good leader motivates the employees to work hard and meet the organizational needs through one means or the other. A good leader initiates the action, which is very critical, that leaders initiate action by planning out who will perform what task and when the task will be completed and by what means and the task will be accomplished. It also builds the morale and improves the satisfaction. A good leaders drive the employees' productivity by building the confidence in employees and creates a very positive environment that is conducive to productivity. Next is, it coordinates the employee needs and the organizational needs. One of the most important things that every manager must do in order to be very effective is to align employees' needs and the organizational needs. Employee talents, interest, and scheduling needs can be either benefit or detract from an organization. So depending on how well a manager works is to align these things with organizational needs and goals. The best managers will find a way to effectively align each employee's needs and the talents with the organizational goals. The next is your delegates responsibilities. A good leader knows what to delegate, to what extent to delegate, and what to handle, and in a very productive manner. Adequate delegation is also necessary for maintaining the employee satisfaction as well as to take advantage of the manager that delegates too little and resent a manager that delegates too much. A good leader also helps the followers in fulfilling their needs. A good leader establishes a personal relationship with his followers and trying to fulfill all their needs. Why does a human group follow a particular reason is because of this. A person who takes care of the above mentioned which we have discussed, consequently they work with a complete dedication and enthusiasm. Next is, a good leader helps in introducing the required changes. These days, the business environment is changing rapidly, and in order to face the changing environment, many changes have got to be introduced in the organization. Since the people already happen to be under the influence of a leader, he readily makes them agree to implement these changes, and in this way, the possible opposition to the change is eliminated with the strength of a leadership ability. It also helps in solving the conflicts effectively. A leader can solve every type of conflict, employee versus employees, employer versus employees, effectively under the weight of his influence. A leader will always allow his followers the freedom to express their views. That is the reason that he easily understands the reality of the conflict, and in this way, by understanding the nature of the conflict, he tries to provide a timely solution and minimizes the possibility of the adverse results. A good leader also helps in training and development of the subordinates. A leader provides a helpful in training and development of his subordinates. He provides them the information about the modern techniques of work. He mentors them, and not only this, he makes it possible for them to be good leaders in the future. A good leader also helps in building a healthy working environment. Manager is all about how to get people to work for you and achieve your target, and a healthy and a positive work environment is of utmost necessity in this case. An efficient work environment is also effective, a steady and a stable growth of the organization. Irrespective of the time, place, person, people are drawn towards the same leadership characteristics. An exceptional and a competent leader should have the knack to maximize the full potential of the people and be instrumental in making people realize the difference they are making by their contribution. He needs to be supportive of his team's efforts, leave no room for destructive criticism and knowledge, and praise his team members when they come up with good ideas and improvements. A leader endowed with these leadership qualities ensures a significant growth in the organization revenue as well as the reputation, and provides to be a valuable asset for the company. The next is your positivity. A leader does not focus on the negative and doesn't let anyone else to do it either. He is an optimistic person who inspires others by letting them know the importance of their contribution towards the organization, and this is the reason why doesn't get intermediated by the problems but work tirelessly in finding out a solution and focus on working towards it. Next is your decision making. A leader is one who takes decision and plans the strategies spontaneously and implements them within a short notice. He not only works out the solutions to a problem but encourages others to help them achieve this goal. He sees the bigger picture, chalk out a plan and move towards it. Now let me give you a very important concept of a differentiation between a leader and a manager. Leadership and managership are two synonym terms. It is an incorrect statement. Leadership does not require any managerial position to act as a leader. On the other hand, a manager can be a true manager only if he or she has got the traits of a leader in him. By virtue of his position, manager has to provide leadership to his group. A manager has to perform all 5 functions to achieve the goals. To name them, the first is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. So leadership is a part of these functions. Leadership as a general term is not related to managership. A person can be a leader by virtue of his qualities. For example, the leader of a club, class welfare association, social organization, etc. Therefore, it is the leader to say that all managers are leaders, but all leaders are not managers. A leader is one who influences the behavior and work of others in group efforts towards the achievement of specified goals in a given situation. On the other hand, manager can be a true manager only if he has got the traits of a leader in him. Manager at all levels are expected to be a leader of the work groups so that the subordinates willingly carry instructions and accept their guidance. A person can be a leader by virtue of all qualities in him. So let us have a tabular differences which makes it a bird's eye view and make a very clear picture of distinction between a manager and the leader. So I will be discussing the basis first of a manager followed by a leader. The first is the origin. A person becomes a manager by virtue of his position. On the other hand, a leader becomes a leader on the basis of his personal qualities. That means, to become a leader, you need not have a managerial position, whereas to become a manager, you need to have the official managerial position with you. Coming on to the second basis of difference between a leader and a manager. It's a formal rights. Manager has got the formal rights in an organization because of his status. If you see the picture of a leader, rights are not available to a leader. So this makes the difference very, very clear. Coming on to the next, that is the followers. The subordinates are the followers of the managers. On the contrary, if you see the leadership position, the group of employees whom the leader leads are his followers. Coming on to the next basis, that is the function. A manager performs all the 5 functions of management: planning, organizing, directing, controlling, coordinating. If you see the functions of a leader, the main function of a leader is to influence the people to work willingly for the group objectives. The next basis is your necessity. A manager is very essential to a concern. A leader is required to create a cordial relation between the person working in for the organization. Coming on to the next basis, that is stability. In case of manager, it is not more stable. It is more stable compared to the leadership position, which is definitely temporary. So in terms of stability, managership is more stable compared to a leadership position. The next is your mutual relationship. All the managers are leaders, whereas all leaders are not managers. In terms of accountability, manager is accountable for self and subordinates behavior and performance. Whereas if you see the picture of a leader, the leaders have no well-defined accountability. Coming on to the concern, a manager's concern is organizational goals. Whereas in terms of a leader's concern is a group goal and the members' satisfaction. In terms of the followers, people follow managers by virtue of the job description, whereas in case of a leadership, people follow them on the voluntary basis. There is no job description, no formal position, etc. in case of a leadership. Now if you see the basis of a role continuation, a manager can continue in office till he performs his duties satisfactorily in congruence with the organizational goals, whereas a leader can maintain his position only through day-to-day wishes of the followers. There is another basis called sanctions, and now we will see the difference between a managerial position and the leadership position as far as the sanction bases are concerned. Manager has command over allocation and the distribution of the sanctions, whereas in case of a leader has a command over the different sanctions and the related task records. These sanctions are essentially of the informal nature. Now, after considering the various positions as far as of the differences between a leadership and the managerial positions are concerned, let me give you a recap of a leader and a manager. Again, a person becomes a manager by virtue of his position. He has some formal rights. He has the followers on the basis of job description with the particular 5 functions which he has to perform, that is planning, organizing, coordinating and controlling, and is very essential for an organization to run because all managers are leaders. Whereas if you see the accountability part, the manager is accountable for the self and subordinate behavior and the performance and is concerned with fulfilling the organizational goals. Now coming on to the leader versus manager as far as the leadership positions are concerned, just a small recap. A leader becomes a leader on the basis of his personal qualities. There are no rights which are available to a leader. He becomes a leader because of his potential qualities into him to lead the organization, to become a good leader, a torch bearer, and many of the followers will follow him if he has that knack of leading others. So the leader influences the people to work willingly for the group objectives and is required to create a cordial relationship between the person working in for the organization. So all leaders are not managers, whereas leaders have no well-defined accountability and they are concerned and they work only for the satisfaction and the group goals, which are very, very essential. And a leader can maintain his position only through day-to-day wishes of the followers, and he has a command over the different sanctions and the related task records. So these are the sanctions which are essential for an informal nature. Now moving on to a very important and the last topic of today, that is the leadership and motivation. Motivation is a goal-oriented characteristic that helps a person achieve his objectives. It pushes an individual to work hard at achieving his or her goals. An executive must have the right leadership traits to influence the motivation. However, there is no specific blueprint for a motivation. When a person is motivated, there is an inner wish to perform. There is an inner wish to complete and execute the goals. And of course, if you are led by a good leader, a right leadership traits influences the motivation level of an individual. As such, if you talk about, there is not a particular map or a blueprint for a motivation. As a leader, one should keep an open perspective on the human nature. Knowing the different needs of the subordinates will certainly make a decision-making process easier. Both an employee as well as the manager must possess the leadership and the motivational traits. An effective leader must have a thorough knowledge of the motivational factors for the others. He must understand the basic needs of the employees, peers, and his superiors. Leadership is used as a means of motivating others. Now, there are some important guidelines. First, harmonize the match subordinate needs with that of the organizational needs. Now, I would like to mention one point here, that to motivate people is the most difficult task. We are all humans, we have our own life, we are having our own journey. The level of commitment of work is different, the level of motivation is different. Some people are motivated with more of monetary gains, some people work for their inner self, for their inner motivation. Some people are more spiritual, some people are very, very commercial in nature. So, a good leader has to first match the needs of the subordinates with that of the organizational needs, and this kind of a mapping is very difficult because a subordinate, they are having their own set of mind, their own set of needs. The organizational needs are very formal and they are priority of a leader and a manager to fulfill. So, if you are having a synchronization of the needs of the subordinates and the synchronization of the needs of the organization, the days are good for you because there is a harmony. But if a leader is not able to match the subordinate needs and the organizational needs, then it will be chaotic. As a leader, the executive must ensure that the business has the same morals and the ethics that he seeks in his employees. So, the matter of ethics is very, very important. It has to be deep rooted into the morals of the individuals, the goals of the organization, etc. So he should make sure that his subordinates are encouraged and trained in a manner that meets the needs of the business. Appreciation and rewards are the two key motivators that influence a person to achieve the desired goals. Rewarding good, exceptional behavior with a small token of appreciation, the certificate or a letter, that can be a great motivator. If a certificate is awarded to a person, it will mention the particular act or a quality for which the individual is being rewarded, and it is definitely a key to a motivation. I told you in the beginning also that the humans are difficult nut to crack, and to motivate an individual, a human, is a very difficult task. And here comes the role, responsibility, duty of a leader. A good leader is one who can read between the lines, who can give anything like a torch, a road where the individuals can move on. So we can also think about some kind of a strategies which can actually help in motivating the employees. And the two most important things which can help us in giving a right kind of a motivation to the employees is the appreciation, that is, patting the back of an individual, giving him a certificate, a word of appreciation, an email specifying even the board of directors and the rest of the family of the corporate where you're working that yes, this individual's work is exceptionally good, and these token of appreciation, certificate and reward can actually be a very good motivating force for the individuals. And of course, this particular act is very important, and a leader must understand when, where to give the words of appreciation, and also the rewards like certificate, letter of appreciation, etc. Being a role model is also a key motivator that influences the people in reaching their goals. A leader should set an example to ensure his people to grow and achieve their goal respectively. Ensuring the individuals to get involved in planning important issues resolution procedure not only motivates them but also teaches them the intricacies of these key decision making factors. Now basically it is all about giving importance to the employees of your organization. A good leader knows which nut to crack, where what point to be highlighted, where what strategy to be implemented, which program to be involved. So basically, if you are having as a leader an inclusive approach, that is taking everyone along, taking every individual as a part of the policy making, resolution solving, policy recourses, programs, strategies, then of course an individual feels very happy that he or she has a say in the organization. And it is not about having a say, it also trains them, it also teaches them that how, what, where to take actions. So it gives them in return the decision making power, the decision making skills, and all the integrities, nitty-gritties, detailing of how to perform the work, where what to do, etc. So encouraging individuals to be as a part of inclusive management programs, resolution programs can really help them getting a motivation. It is also about everyone to get a better understanding of their role in their organization if you are having an inclusive approach. The communication will be unambiguous and will certainly attract the acknowledgement and the appreciation from the leader. Developing the morals, team spirit certainly has a key impact on and well-being of an individual. The mental, emotional state of a person constitute his or her moral fabric. A leader's action, decisions affect the morale of the subordinates. Hence, he should always be aware of his decisions and the activities. The team spirit is the soul of the organization. The leader should always make sure that his subordinates enjoy performing their duties as a team and makes themselves as a part of the organizational plans. A leader should step into the shoes of the subordinates, that is, having an empathetic view and view the things from the subordinates' angle. He should empathize with them during the difficult times, empathizing with their personal problems, making them stronger mentally and emotionally, and making a loud and a clear statement that I am always there for you. A meaningful and a challenging job accomplished inculcates a sense of achievement among the employees. The executive must make their employees feel that they are performing an important work and that is necessary for the organization well-being and success. This motivational aspect drives them to fulfill the goals. So remember, to become an efficient leader, you should be self-motivated. You must know your identity, your needs, and you must have a strong urge to do anything to achieve your goals. And once you are self-motivated, only then you can motivate others to achieve their goals and to harmonize their personal goals with the common goals of the organizational. So I think with these words you understand what the leadership qualities are all about, why leadership is important, especially in this pandemic era, what is a close relationship of motivation and the leadership, and why and how the role of a manager is different from that of a leader. So it is all about the leadership and the self-motivation, because if you are self-motivated, you can motivate others.